Hey everybody, welcome to Pop's React from me, BP1 and BP2. We're here with the history of the earthquake that shook the 1989 A Giants World Series or MLB on ESPN. Yeah, interesting one. I don't remember anything. I mean, I was a kid. I'm probably even trying to work out what earthquakes even meant in an encyclopedia, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yes.
So I don't know nothing about this whatsoever.
No.
But brought to our attention,
Indeed,
as usual, when it's something a bit unusual, from the lovely Amanda. Thank you, Amanda.
Indeed, Amanda, thank you very much again, as always, coming in with the topical content, which us lowbrow people probably wouldn't have thought of doing. But Amanda popped over to BUYMEACOFFEE.com, requested this, plus many other topical videos that we've been broadening our horizons on, shall we say. So today we are going to dive into the earthquake that shook the 1989, I think, is that A's Giants World Series, A's v Giants, or is it A's Giants? I'm not up to the MLB. Is it the?
We're not on it, are we?
No, the A's. Don't know. We'll get informed. Bear with us.
All right, here we go. Let's do it.
Okay.
It was warm. I remember that. Unusually warm.
It was a perfect day for baseball.
So I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to Game 3.
October in the Bay Area is the best. Bright sunshine, ice blue sky, light breeze, perfect.
Nice.
And we come on the air, and I welcomed everybody, and then brought Tim McCarver in.
Let me turn now to Tim McCarver. And, Tim, we talked in Game 1.
And what Tim was going to do is narrate highlights from the previous game.
Hey, welcome to Candlestick Park, guys.
Upper deck, straight up from the foul pole. Top row, as far as you can go.
We got there when the gates opened, and we headed up to our seats. In the upper deck, center field.
I do this every time there's no wind. I say this. Hey, earthquake weather, right?
Oh.
There was a couple in front of us from Arizona, and they said, yeah, we're a little nervous being here and hearing about earthquakes. And I said, don't worry about it. Odds of us having an earthquake are not going to happen.
A throw from Will.
We were on the air for 4 minutes, and at 5:04, we were off the air for a while.
And he fails to get Dave Parker at second base, so the Oakland A's take.
Tell you what, we're having an earthquake.
Oh my God!
Wow.
I really thought it was the fans just banging their feet on the floor and on the top of the dugout, and I went, oh man, that's what it's going to be.
Could we have been pitched out of the booth? Could the upper deck have collapsed? Those were the thoughts that made your heart sink and your throat go into your heart later on.
All of a sudden, the press box started to shake uncontrollably.
There was this enormous roar, and it sounded like a flight of major military bombers had flown over.
I was working for ESPN. Chris Berman and I, we were relegated to the upper deck, right behind home
decks?
Plate. The top of
Everyone
the
on
stadium
the upper
seemed
deck.
to move.
The ground was shaking, man.
All of a sudden, there's a big
That's the
rump,
upper deck.
and the little tables and the little monitors are shaking around.
The screech was so loud, and it felt like a train was coming through the door. I said, earthquake, and auxiliary lights flipped on, and I was gone.
There has been, as you may know by now, a rather severe earthquake measuring 6.5 on the Richter scale in San Francisco.
6.5. It's pretty damn
You
bad.
could physically see like a big wave come rolling through. I'm on a left field line. I felt like I stepped in a hole, a big one, and looked around. I couldn't believe there'd be a hole that big in the outfield.
Somebody later asked me how long did it last, and I said long enough to start a Hail Mary, not long enough to finish it. But it maybe 15 seconds.
Well, folks, that's the greatest open in the history of television, bar none.
I thought maybe this was a localized quake and hadn't done any damage, and it wasn't until much later that I knew the extent of what had taken place.
The whole upper deck went ba-ba-boom, ba-ba-boom, ba-ba-boom. And if it did it again, I was gonna, my pants.
The upper deck shook a lot.
Right there, yeah.
I was sitting in my chair, and it actually knocked me forward.
And it stopped. And out of 53,000 fans, 50,000 of them got up and cheered. Yeah! California, earthquake, yeah!
Oh, wow.
Except Section 53. They all left. What a bunch of babies, man. Let's go. Let's play the game.
I was up the top row, the last seat, and it was ugly. I've never felt more insecure in my life.
My seat was on an expansion joint. And so when I turned around, the seat was cracked. I could see out to the bay, and I could actually see the Bay Bridge.
In this ballpark, there are joints that come together. And there were multiple expansion joints that did exactly what it was supposed to do.
My brother-in-law was in the upper deck, and he got up to go get a hot dog. And when he came back, there was a big boulder sitting in his seat that would have crushed him if in fact, he was sitting in the seat at the time.
Then electricity went out, and we really had no communication. We didn't know except for people coming and saying the bridge had collapsed, the fires in the city, and you're scared to death.
It is the Oakland Bay Bridge, northern from San Francisco, basically the center of town over towards Oakland. That is the bridge that has apparently sustained damage. Freeway has collapsed where?
Immediately, you felt a sense of responsibility that we have to get on the air.
And I would say within about 15 minutes, we were live on the air, Bob Lee hosting our coverage.
Everyone else couldn't function. We had a generator, which, by the way, the police outpost, and they had their own trailer right next to us in right center field, was able to tap in with us. So we felt in a small way, later on finding out, we were helping out the area.
Yeah, otherwise you'd have been bad.
No.
Having the only generator and using it to
Everybody's just scrambling right now.
We had 2 phone lines in our production truck. We gave one to the San Francisco Police Department because they didn't have any communications, and we kept one to coordinate.
My ops producer came into the truck and he was like, there's a chance we may have to give up the truck because they may resume the World Series. And I just said, take a look at that monitor up there. Do you see that bridge? I go, they're not playing baseball here tonight. Nobody's getting in the truck. Let's just keep doing our coverage.
And we are feeling a shock right now, and that shaking in your picture is being...
We did a couple of subliminal things. First, we pulled the bases off the infield. Why would you be pulling off the bases if you're not playing?
I remember the dashing figure of Commander Nelson on the field, taking control of the situation.
He said, Commissioner, we have to cancel this game. He said, we got 53,000 people here, and we got to get them out. I said, Commander, it's just been canceled. That's done.
We have a power failure, therefore the game will be postponed. We ask that you leave in an orderly fashion.
I think everybody...
Well, I would say that was the most obvious thing, would it not be? Would it not be that obvious when you've got gaps in the stadium and you've got everything? I mean, come on. Common sense says, right, we don't know what the impact is. This whole thing could just dump itself in 10 minutes. It should be emergency evacuation almost imminently.
Yeah, but then the flip side is, you if you got them in there, then they're not going to panic and all try and get out the doors at the same time and then cause a mass stampede and a crush, are they? Which has happened, as we know, in football stadiums. So it's sort of trying to do it in an orderly fashion where people don't all go, let's
Which
all
is
rush
fine,
at the same time.
but they should make that decision quickly. Shouldn't be faffing around like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they came to the decision quite quick, pick the bases up, job done. If, as you say, if the scale wasn't large enough, carry on, and job done, but without causing a panic. So, yeah, I think you're right. Once they realise the extent of the damage, bridges are down, people are going to be worried about families and friends and other things.
You couldn't possibly play that. No. All right, let's keep going.
Pretty much had the same idea. Okay, let's get our families out the stands, let's get them on the field, and we need to exit this stadium as soon as possible.
The first reports that we got were from the scanners of the police officers' cars on the field. The Bay Bridge is down, and we thought, what? The Bay Bridge is down.
Oh my God, look at that. The freeway has just completely collapsed. And
it took us 6 hours to get from the San Francisco side back to the Oakland side.
It was surreal because there were like no rules on the road at that point. It was gridlock. There were people driving across medians, going the wrong way on exit ramps. It was chaos.
Prepare yourselves. Prepare for aftershocks. Prepare for 3 days of no services. You got 90 minutes of light left. You better make use of your time.
You got 90 minutes of light left, making use of the time. Wow, yeah.
It is becoming very clear to all of us in Major League Baseball that our issue is really a modest one in light of the great tragedy that's hit this area.
I'm told that I have to have a press conference, and it has to be a big event because, of course, canceling the World Series or even postponing it's a big deal.
To have
not when it comes to people,
be
it's just
the
a game.
Source of whatever illumination there would be in a very big room. It was out of some bizarre movie.
Since we're in a hotel without power and without telephones, it's very hard for us to know what is going on in this community, and so we won't.
And a couple hours later, I get a call from George Steinbrenner.
Yeah,
and he said to me, Commissioner, I'm furious at you. I said, why, George? He said, because you look like a bum. He said, you shouldn't be on television ever, ever, without a coat and tie. He said, you really looked awful.
Cheers, mate.
I'll give you the middle finger,
Dave
mate.
Stewart
Really?
goes and watches the
worried
police,
at that time.
brings coffee and donuts to try to help and see if he can do something.
Just seeing if I could be of help to try to rally different parts of our community, put together blankets and food and clothing for the people that were working, the people that were displaced from their homes.
Tony, you wanted to keep the team really sharp, and we actually flew to Arizona for a few days to work out when the Giants stayed in the Bay Area.
We felt an obligation to make sure we did everything we could to keep the edge. The effect of it on us was very positive because we had been inundated with grief.
We were having to answer questions like, do you think you guys should really be practicing and focusing on a World Series when right down the street they're pulling bodies out of the rubble? I mean, how do you answer that?
The Giants thought that we would be better off, staying in the Bay Area and assisting any way possible we could in the community. And I personally agreed with that.
And there was a lot.
Wow. Look at that. That's San Francisco Giants, and the A's are obviously the Oakland Athletics.
Oakland A's, yeah.
One of them stays in the area to help, and the other one to keep themselves. They fly off, and I suppose, I don't know. All gets a bit too serious, doesn't it? People, at the end of the day, when you look at that, and people are in need, and you're in the area, you got to help, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, but like I say, again, it's how, what are those guys, are they going to go in there physically and pull people out of buildings? Probably not. Financial help from the club, probably. And at some stage you're going to have to play that game. So do you take the edge that you can?
Respect, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not expecting them to go in and pull the people out, but have a bit more of a respect and
we've had that in football as well, mate. Someone's dropped dead and they carry on playing the game, don't they? Because it's all relative, isn't it?
It's true.
Sometimes the game's bigger than, because like I say, it that brings the community together, that they carry on and play the game, things like that.
Yeah, but someone dying in the crowd, I get that, but it's not an earthquake that's affected the whole city. And but there you go.
Going on in the Bay Area at that time, I thought it was a good way to get our minds back and focused on what we needed to do, which is get ready to play and get ready to win the World Series.
Yes, he's there in time, and the A's are the world champions.
We're excited in the moment, but we're also in memory of what took place.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you. So, I mean, like you say, you know, even the players are going, they know they still got to go back and do it, because then that brings the community back together again. You know, there's still the rest of the America that's sort of relying on the World Series to be played. Didn't think much of Matey giving him a go just because he didn't wear a tie on live television. Whatever, get over yourself, mate.
Yeah, one
other
there.
than that, I suppose, you know.
Oh, it's just here.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Like I say, after the stress of sitting through an hurricane.
Yeah, too right, mate. I'll be telling the.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But there you go. Right. I had no idea. There you go.
Absolutely no idea that the earthquake even happened. Not even the fact that, you know, it shook.
The Bay Area bridge came down.
MLB.
All that.
Yeah.
No idea.
No. Incredible.
Just amazing how it sort of, you know, passes you by when you're at that sort of. I mean, I would have been quite old back then, but probably we're not getting the kind of news and coverage of things that we do nowadays. You know.
Yeah.
If you didn't catch it on the 9 o'clock news on BBC at the time, that was it.
Yeah, and the next day there was another presenter being done for something. Anyway, well, yeah, thumbs up,
Thank you very much, Amanda.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention, because again,
very informative and impressive. Yeah, filled in another little nugget of info there.
Indeed. All right, thank you for joining us at Britpops React. It's great to hear your comments, because a lot of other people that put the comments in and say, "Oh, I didn't know that either," or
yes,
you know, I haven't seen that for a long time, and it's brought back some memories. So if it's done that, you know, hit the comments. We always check them out and read them, so much appreciated.
San Francisco Giants, Oakland A's. Brilliant. There you go. Which was your team? Didn't tell us who won. Who did win?
The A's.
There you go.
We'll be back tomorrow for another reaction. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Oh, goodbye from him over there. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.